You don't taste food, you taste the fear. In a royal court, dinner isn't a meal, it's a weapon that steams. Rule 1: the king eats second. You eat first. Cost: if he coughs, they blame you. If he lives, they blame you too because somebody wanted him dead. And you ruined the plan. So no, you're not a protector. You're a test run. Tonight, the tray arrives early. The room goes quiet too fast. And the cup on top is too clean. You lift the spoon. One bite, and the moment you swallow, the entire court starts watching your throat. Not to help, but to see who smiles. Stay with me. Halfway through, you'll see why the poison stories keep repeating. Near the end, you'll learn why you can't quit, even if you survive. The kitchen smells like riches meat. Wine, spice. Your stomach doesn't celebrate. It calculates. You sit at the tasting table with empty hands and full responsibility. A steward leans in polite. Cold, careful. He doesn't ask if you're ready. He watches if you're shaking. Because the second rule is this: they don't only test the food, they test your face. You take the first bite slow. Too fast looks greedy. Too slow looks suspicious. You chew like you're being measured. You swallow. Nothing. No cough. No collapse. No drama. And the silence gets worse. Because this room is hungry for a scene. A guard taps the table with his knuckle. Not a threat. A metronome. Then the second dish arrives hotter. Heavier. Sharper. Steam arises like a warning that doesn't need words. You taste again. Your tongue burns. Not poison. Heat. But the court reacts anyway. A noble flinches. Another smirks. Someone behind silk exhales like relief. That's when you learn Rule 3. It doesn't matter what's real. It matters what they can claim. Heat becomes poison. Sweat becomes guilt. Silence becomes confession. And they love this job because you can't defend yourself while you're chewing. A page slides a clean cloth near your elbow. Too helpful. Too timed. You don't wipe your mouth. Because comfort can be staged. And staged comfort becomes staged blame. Now the drink. A silver cup polished like a mirror. It reflects your pale face, tired eyes, the bruise you can't hide. You take one sip. Sweet. Too sweet. Your throat tightens for half a second. Not enough to choke. Enough to be noticed. And they know this. You can feel the room leaning forward, waiting for your body to say something they can use. So you set the cup down gently. If you slam it, you're dramatic. If you smile, you're paid. If you look afraid, you're weak. So you become nothing. A blank face with a full mouth. The steward points without touching. Next bite. Next bite. That's the trap, not the poison. The trap is how many bites they can force into you, while everyone watches. Because every bite is a chance to write a story. And the court lives on stories. A chef appears at the far door. Hands still. Eyes down. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. When your eyes meet, he doesn't look scared of the king. He looks scared of the room. Because the kitchen is where blame goes to die quietly. You take another bite. This one tastes normal. And your stomach drops. Because normal is suspicious too. If they planned the poison, it wouldn't be dramatic. It would be clean. Invisible. political. A noble laughs softly. Just once. Like a signal. A guard shifts his stance. And you understand something worse than poison. They're not waiting to see if you die. They're waiting to see who wants you to die. They're reading the room through your risk. Then the tray comes with bread. Simple bread. The safest looking thing on the table. Which is exactly why it's dangerous. Because nobody fears bread. So when bread becomes the test is never the bread. You hold the piece above your tongue. And you see it. A tiny pinprick shine on the crust. A single clear drop. Like oil. Your hand pauses. 1 heartbeat. 2. The whole court leans in. This is the moment they want. If you refuse, you insult the king. If you eat, you're reckless. If you hesitate, you knew. So you do the only move that doesn't give them a clean headline. You tear the bread in half. Slow. Controlled. Then you taste it at the inside first. The room exhales annoyed. Because you changed the scene. But annoyance isn't safety. It's attention. And attention makes powerful people cruel. A captain steps closer, watching your hands. Not your mouth. Your hands. Because some hands can hide evidence. Hands can accept coins. Hands can become guilty, even when your throat stays calm. So you keep your palms open. You keep nothing. You keep your eyes down. Then the king's screen shifts. A shadow moves behind it. Not the king. Someone beside him. Someone whispering. And the air changes. Because this night isn't only about survival. It's about control. The steward presents the final dish smaller, more special, floral, perfect. Too perfect. Your stomach turns before your mind finishes the thought. You swallow anyway, because you are the wall between royalty and consequence. The room waits. Your breath is steady. Your face is blank. Your hands don't shake. And nothing happens. No collapse. No drama. No poison. Which should mean you win. But you don't hear relief. You hear disappointment. And that's when you finally see it. The poison stories aren't random. They're scheduled. They're staged. They're useful. They don't test the food to protect the king. They test food to measure loyalty. Your body is the instrument. They watch who flinches when danger arrives. They watch who relaxes when you swallow. They watch who looks angry when you survive. They don't need poison every night. They just need the threat of poison. To keep everyone obedient. Fear is cheaper than guards. Cheaper than justice. Cheaper than truth. And you are the loudest fear they can put on the table. So you change. Not by refusing to eat. By refusing to perform. They slide another cup toward you. Same shine. Same sweetness. Same timing. You lift it. You sip. And you don't react at all. No throat touch. No blink. No breath change. The room waits for your face to speak. It doesn't. For the first time, you starve them. A noble shifts uncomfortably. The steward's jaw tightens. A guard steps closer because stillness is suspicious now. So they escalate, not with poison, with isolation. Servants clear the table too fast. A utensil accidentally drops near your foot. A thin metal pick skittering across stone. Not a weapon. A message. Anything can become evidence. The captain studies you like he's memorizing your flaws. The steward smiles without warmth. And you learn the next rule. Even perfect behavior doesn't protect you. Power decides the outcome first, then writes the reason afterward. Then the king moves behind the screen, just a silhouette. He doesn't look at the dishes. He looks at you, not with gratitude, with expectation. Like a tool he paid for and intends to use until it breaks. You bow, not respect, survival. The steward steps close enough for you to smell perfume and ink. And he slips something into your rope belt. Cold metal, a stamped tag. You don't read it. You don't have to. You've seen tags on kitchen boys, on gate guards, on prisoners. It isn't a gift. It's ownership. You step into the corridor outside the hall. Quieter. Still dangerous, just more honest. A kitchen boy grabs your sleeve and points down a side passage. No words, just panic. You follow. Behind the stacked linens, he shows you a sealed box. Inside, powders, oils, herbs. Not enough to kill. Enough to scare. Enough to make your throat tighten. Your eyes water. Your sweat appear. Enough to create a performance. So the poison was never meant to end you. It was meant to use you. You look back toward the hall. The party continues. The king eats. The nobles laugh. And the cruel changes lands. They keep a royal taster. Not to stop a poison, but to keep poison useful. Then the final trap arrives. A servant rushes into the corridor with a tray, accidentally bumps you, and wine splashes down your vest. A cup rolls. In the spill, something dark spreads like ink. A stain. A pretend proof. Guards snap their heads toward you. The steward appears instantly, like he was already waiting. He points at your chest, at the stain, at the cup. The court's favorite story is ready. Bribed, corrupt, poisoner. You don't defend yourself with words. Words don't matter here. You hold up empty hands. You keep your mouth closed. You turn the tray over empty. And still, they don't relax. Because the story isn't about truth. It's about control. And now you learn the real cage. That stamped tag. It isn't your rank. It's your debt. Your contract. Your leash. If you leave, you don't become free. You become traitor. And a traitor makes the court look weak. So they won't let you exit the story. They'll let you die in service. They'll let you rot in blame. But they won't let you walk away. Because if you can quit, other people might believe they can quit too. The kitchen boy backs away. Terrified, he showed you the box. He disappears into darkness like a man erasing himself. You step back toward candlelight. The king's silhouette waits. The steward watches. The captain watches. Not because they fear poison. Because they fear anything they can't control. And then you see it. A new boy at the doorway. Young, clean hands, wide eyes. Holding a bowl like it's honor. A new taster in training. The steward nods toward him. Soon, a cup slides across the table again. Perfect shine. Perfect timing. The boy flinches. The room leans in. The machine resets. Same fear, new face. And you finally understand what first bite really means. It doesn't mean you eat before the king. It means you are the first to be used. The first to be blamed. The first to swallow the court's lies and call it duty. You lift the spoon again. Not because you believe. Because you're trapped. And because the only thing worse than eating fear is letting fear choose the next person before you do.